So what's going on, guys? What's up, guys? So as the days go on, you're probably getting more bored and more bored and more bored and borderer, something like that. But we are not. Fortunately, we are not here. I know you guys are probably getting sick of all the Jeep stuff, and I actually missed a TIG welding video on Saturday, but I'll make up for that on this Saturday. But behind us, we have something different. I figured, why not? We've done Chevrolet Silverados, we've done Jeeps, we've done Ford F-150s. Why not delve into the Toyota realm as well, seeing that Safety Cap actually makes a whole bunch of stuff for the basically 96 to 2004 Tacomas. So why not get in on a little bit of that action? This particular truck belongs to the man Drew Tube himself. So we are going to get on it. I'm going to show you what we're doing with it. We've already taken the liberty of pulling the fuel tank out and doing all that stuff. That's, you know, pretty much anybody can take care of that. You don't need to see it. But I'll show you exactly what we're working with over here. All right, so upon initial inspection, when Drew bought this truck, it didn't look bad at all. I mean, you couldn't see any of these holes. You couldn't see any of this metal down here. You couldn't see any of it. But what I noticed is that on the front of the frame, there's very little, if any, undercoating. It's literally just a coat of paint, basically. Then you get to back here and you start to see all of this undercoating getting thicker and thicker and thicker till we got all the way back here, which now you can see why. So somebody basically patched this, booger welded it, and then laid a whole bunch of undercoating and Bondo and all sorts of crap on it. That's just the outside of the frame on the driver's side. Now the inside of the frame, they didn't even bother with. So there is literally just rust and rot, and it runs all the way up to about here. And same thing goes, you know, all the way to this area, and it's starting up here. You can kind of see this bubble out right here. That is actually rot starting underneath the undercoating. Now on the passenger side, you can see what they've done. So it's kind of like a patchwork quilt. And you could tell that they did it and then painted it without even moving the emergency brake cable, which makes things even more funny. But take a look at those welds, guys. Tell me if you think those are structural enough to hold the frame together. And then we also have that area where you can just start sticking your finger through the frame. So basically, we got to cut all this crap out. Drew already took the liberty of cutting most of this stuff out, which it just literally broke off. You can still see the welds are stuck here. But we're going to take this out. We're going to cut them just like we do on the Jeep frames. We're going to cut from about here going forward. And we'll probably leave this half of the frame alone for the most part, because our safety caps are just going to slide up over them. And what I'll do is I will show you guys the safety caps, because obviously we're going to need our shackle or our spring mounts as well, because these are pretty much rotted off the frame and there's big holes underneath it, as you can see. But our friends at Safety Cap make a nice complete piece to cover all of that, including the spring mount. So we're going to get set up. We're going to do some cutting. We're going to cut this frame apart. I'm going to drop that spring hanger, start to cut this frame. I think we're going to cut it probably right to this body mount just to get rid of the garbage. And yeah, we'll throw the safety cap up in there. All right, guys, so we went ahead and we cut all this stuff out. We still got to cut a little bit more back here, but we'll get to that. Not a big deal. That stuff just folds back anyway. But got it all cut out. We got all the metal cleaned up all the way around on the inside and out. Like up here, all this whole section up here is all cleaned out, and the safety caps come to about right here, so that's where they'll end. Now we're going to put the safety cap up in place, and I'll show you guys what it looks like before I tack it in. And there's the safety cap installed. So you can see it covers a good majority of the crap that was going on over here. Now we had to cut out a little bit more than I wanted to, so we're going to have to fill that with some weld right in there. But comes right up to the bottom of this bed mount, comes right up to the bottom of the body mounts, sits right around them, super nice, has the mount for the spring, covers all the way up to our area that is still good back here. And then for some extra added strength, it actually runs all the way up to almost the front body mount. So it runs up pretty far. Same thing on the other side. See, we cover up all our crap up in this area up here. What we'll probably do is end up cutting this a little bit and then pushing this piece of metal in and welding it just like they did in the frame. As you can see on this side, it kind of like dives in, or we just may leave it, because the nice thing about what Safety Cap did with these is, like always, they put a drain hole, and there's actually a couple of them. So we don't even really have to address this up here, because anything that does get in here is going to drain out. And we did treat the inside of this with our typical method of self-etching primer and a little bit of paint. So what we're going to do now is we're going to clamp all this in place. We're going to come back, weld it all in, and then we're going to do the exact same on the other side. And guys, this one is super easy, so it doesn't need a whole ton of explanation, because these little Toyotas are pretty easy to work on. So, but we are going to have our work cut out for us on this side of the frame, because we got to cut these patches out, but I don't think we'll be too bad off. I think we'll still be okay. And just like that, it is all welded in. So again, just like on the Jeeps, we do complete and full beads all the way around everything, or as much as we can possibly get. I mean, again, you're kind of limited to, you know, the type of metal that you're dealing with and how much rot's on it and everything else, because a lot of times you'll get stuff that's in the way, or, you know, things that hang down, wires, cables, brake lines. So you kind of have to pick and choose your battles, but for the most part, you can get it welded completely around, and it'll look pretty good. And don't worry about those tacks on these. I just put those there so I can get an idea of where the holes need to be. But pretty good overall, considering the condition of the frame. But it'll be nice and strong now, and that area up there is covered, and everything around here is covered. So now we're just going to head over to the other side, do the exact same thing, and I'll show you guys an after when it's all done. Alrighty then, so the Tacoma is pretty much set. We got this side in, all primed up, looking good on the inside. Same thing, we got our pieces put back in, we got things back together. And then the passenger side is all done, looking pretty good. We got all of our crap covered up. You can still see some remnants from the patches that were there, and there's some remnants over there I'll show you in a sec. But we got everything all welded up nice. Now we just got to put the bolts back in there, we got to put the fuel tank back in it, and then we will be perfect. Now here's one of the patches that came out of the passenger side, and you can see the welds didn't penetrate shite, basically. And then we got what was the frame. I think that was the driver's side. There's nothing left to it. And that was, or no, that was the driver's side, that was the passenger side. So yeah, you can see how gnarly these things actually look. I mean, look at it from the bottom. Pretty bad. So, needless to say, as always, as I try to set you guys up on the tripod here, safety cap comes through. 96 to 04 Tacoma. If you have one, you can pretty much get any single part you want. 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, whatever. These guys have everything, and it makes life so much easier, keeps costs down, saves the truck. And for those of you that might be asking, why didn't you just take it to have the frame replaced by Toyota under warranty? Because they had that whole program. Well, that program has ended. All of these Tacomas that were involved in that recall are now at an age where they are past where Toyota will do a frame repair on them. Some of the newer stuff, like the 2004s, if you yell loud enough, you might be able to get it done. But even a 2004 at that point is 16 years old. And Toyota's not really honoring those much anymore, or at all for that matter. So yes, you could have taken this 5 or 6 years ago and probably had Toyota replace the frame for free. But for right now, you spend a little bit of money, get the frame fixed up. Everything else on this truck is perfect. There is zero body rot. There is nothing wrong with the engine or transmission. Suspension is all good. It's a good little truck. And, you know, to put a little bit of money into it, to save the frame, is going to be key, because this truck will last forever. So it is going to be an excellent little vehicle. Sorry about that. The wind's blowing like crazy. My door's banging and making all sorts of noise. But that's the Toyota Tacoma. So now we're just going to paint these things, and maybe I'll bring you guys back and show you what they look like completely painted. Then we got to put the gas tank back in and put it all back together, and it'll be done. So let me go paint those now, and then I'll show you one last clip, and then we'll close the video out.
Can you guys hear me? Am I talking funny? Hold up.
Was I talking funny? Whew. All right, so we got that painted, looking nice and shiny, but it won't be shiny for long because this is actually a semi-gloss paint. We don't want to go too crazy with these frames and make them too bling bling, but we shoot a quick coat of paint on them, make them look lovely. Shot a coat of primer on the passenger side. So that is going to end it for this portion of Yon video. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Just know that we also do Toyota Tacomas, Chevy Silverados, Jeep Wranglers, Ford F-150s, and I believe Safety Cap is actually coming out with some Dodge stuff for some of the second gens, I believe, or the third gens. I can't remember which one, but we'll be doing those as well. So if you guys have a Toyota Tacoma and you need it taken care of, I'm your guy. Or Safety Cap's your guy. If you can, if you want to do it yourself, if you got a welder and you can handle it, then go for it. All right, guys, that is the end of the video. We're gonna paint the other side, put this thing back together, and send it. So thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button. I think right now, as of right now, we're about 30 subscribers away from 20,000, which is amazing. That's a huge milestone for this channel. So thank you to everyone who subscribed. If you haven't, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit that little bell so you can get notified when we post, and stay tuned for Saturday's welding video. Have a great night, everybody.